Guys, it's April. So today I'm going to show you how to get this Izabella Miko Mr. Brightside by the Killers Hot Fuss 2004 Celestial Angelic Whore look. I have always been so obsessed with the way Isabella Miko was styled for this particular music video. She just looks very ethereal and angelic and beautiful. She's highlighted to the heavens. She has this big platinum blonde hair that's just very curled and teased and just absolutely gorgeous. And I was like, I want to look like that. And I've been thinking that way since I was 13. But yeah, 27, here I am, and I'm finally doing it. The look was also pretty heavily inspired by Moulin Rouge. I'm gonna link some videos of the making of that music video so you guys can watch them, because I don't know about you guys, I love behind the scenes stuff. So yeah, enough of me talking. Let's just get on to the tutorial, and then we could talk a little bit more afterwards. But okay, tutorial.
Let's first start off by thoroughly brushing our hair. Since we're going to curl our hair, I'm going to go ahead and section off some of my hair, and using a little alligator type clip, I'm going to clip it up and get it out of the way. Next, I'm going to take a hot curling wand, and I'm going to take tiny little sections, and I'm just going to wrap it around the curling wand and hold it there for a few seconds. And then we're going to let it go. A little note, be sure to watch the temperature of your curling wand and use a temperature that's appropriate for your hair type. Fast forwarding a little bit, I've already curled that whole section, and now we're just going to repeat that all the way up to the top of our head. Once again, clipping away a section, taking small little pieces and wrapping them around my curling wand, holding them, and as you can see, I have a little fish hook right there. Just go ahead and wrap it around the end of the wand and get that curled. And just go ahead and continue to repeat this step until you get to the very top of your head, taking the long pieces of your hair, clipping them away from your face, and grabbing small sections and curling your hair. The smaller the sections, the better, because you get a fuller brush out. Also forgot to mention that the direction of the curl really doesn't matter. Now we're going to move on to the front section. Since I have bangs, I'm going to go ahead and just take a curling wand and separate my hair in 3 pieces. And I'm just going to wrap each piece around the wand really quickly. It doesn't have to be super curly, but it is a little bit easier to maneuver when you have a bit of a curl in there. So as you can see, I'm just taking 3 sections and curling the front of my bangs. And also I had a little extra bang in there that I didn't want, so I'm just going to curl that separately and add it to the rest of my hair. Now with those 3 sections that we have in the front, I'm just going to go ahead and wrap this around my finger, roll it up, and just pin it kind of haphazardly to my head, trying to make sure that they look relatively flat. Also, it would be a lot better if you hit the bobby pins, but I'm just a lazy bridge troll and decided just to pin it the way I'm doing here. And I'm going to go ahead and spray that with hairspray, because once it dries, you can basically take the bobby pins out and it'll stay there. So now I'm just taking a comb or switching to a brush, and we're just going to brush out all of your curls. The fluffier, the better. It doesn't have to be perfect. You can even tease it a bit more if you'd like. We just need a big mop of hair. And as you can see, I had missed one small section and I just went back and curled it. It's not a big deal. It's a pretty no fuss kind of hairstyle. And honestly, anytime I have my hair this curly, I always feel like Chutney from Legally Blonde or like Amy Irving as Sue Snell in Carrie. So now I'm just going to take some decorative hairpins and I'm going to pin them to the front. This is a totally optional thing, but I thought it was really cute. It would look better if I had more hairpins, but I literally only had 3. So, I'm just going to work with what I have. But yeah, totally optional. And once again, you can hide the bobby pins a little bit better, but once they dry, you can basically slide them out and it'll hold that formation. So starting with a really well moisturized face, I'm going to take my Benefit primer. This is a pore filling primer, and I'm just going to work this around my nose and basically the center of my face. So we're going to need a pretty pale base, so I'm going to take this white foundation mixer, a full coverage foundation closer to my color, and some luminescent kind of dewy primer. And I'm going to go ahead and mix all of that together on the back of this palette using mostly the white foundation mixer. And here I am stirring it up, wiping what's on the end of my brush onto my skin, and using a wet beauty sponge, I'm going to go ahead and pounce this all over my face, making sure that I'm building up coverage and everything looks relatively smooth. A little side note, this LA Colors foundation mixer is not very good and it tends to lift and move a lot on the skin. So if you can, I would avoid buying that particular brand. But I'm going to use it because I bought it. So here I am building up even more coverage, trying to make sure it looks a little bit more opaque. Like I said, this was a really tricky mixer to work with. I am also taking that makeup and blending it down my neck and onto my chest because it looks like they did the same with Izabella Miko. Taking that same brush and powder duo that I used earlier, once again I'm resetting my face, having to do this very carefully because this foundation was a nightmare to work with. I am switching to a fluffier brush and a very loose translucent setting powder and dusting my face, once again being very careful not to move the foundation, but I just really needed to set this makeup because it was moving so much. If you guys knew the struggle. Right now is a good chance to brush off all that extra product from your eyebrows just using a little spoolie. I'm setting my face with some rose water, and this helps that like excessive powdery thing that I had going on. So now I'm taking this highlighting palette and I'm picking the whitest shade, which has just the slightest gold shift to it, and I'm gonna just apply this all over my eyelid. And I needed a little extra help, so I'm spraying some of that setting spray and once again going back in with that eyeshadow. Next, I'm going to take a soft medium tone brown, slightly on the cooler side, and a fluffy tapered blending brush, and I'm going to work this color on the outer corner of my eye, kind of sweeping it into my crease just a little bit, but mostly focusing this on the outer corner, extending this out towards my temple. This is going to help give the illusion that you have a wider face shape, kind of like Izabella Miko's, without really having that super wide face shape. But yep, just blend it out really well. Make sure everything looks nice and smooth. Next, I'm going to take this color, which is basically like a greenish gold shimmer, and wetting a shader brush, I'm going to go ahead and apply this onto my lid. This particular shade needed to be built up a little bit, but any kind of like shimmery gold shade on the lid would look nice. Next, I'm going to take this silver shimmery eyeshadow and a little like pencil brush. I'm going to work this onto my bottom lash line, once again focusing more on the outer corner. And I'm also going to sweep this up into the outer corner of my eye, and I'm going to use like a fluffy tapered brush and just blend that out a little bit. You want it to look basically connected to the eyeshadow that's on your lid. And I'm just going to clean up a little bit with my beauty sponge. With this Fierce as Fire palette, I'm going to take this white shimmery shade, which is more of like a true pearly white, and a little pencil brush. And I'm going to apply this to my brow bone and my inner corner of the eye. And if you need to, you can go ahead and wet your brush just to get that super shiny pearlescent look. With some clear brush-on lash glue, I'm going to go ahead and apply this to my top lash line, kind of like if I were lining my eyes, because we're going to add a little bit of glitter onto that later. I'm going to take a little bit of silver glitter and just a touch of gold glitter, basically equal parts actually. Stir that up, and with a little liner brush, and yes, my saliva, I'm going to go ahead and apply that onto that glue that we had just laid down. Obviously, you don't have to lick your brush. I just do that because it's easier. Now go ahead and take a nude or white eyeliner pencil and go ahead and apply that onto your waterline. It's going to help make the eyes look very opened and angelic. I'm going to run some black mascara through my top and bottom eyelashes, focusing more on the outer corner of my bottom lashes and making them a little bit spiky, not clumpy. Throw on a slightly spiky, very soft flared eyelash to your top eyelashes. You don't actually want them to be too heavy. Just a nice flared out pair. I'm going to mix up a few blush shades. I'm going to take different types of pinks and this kind of like orangey red color on a domed powder brush. And I'm going to go ahead and apply this onto the apples of my cheeks, focusing on the higher parts of your apples. This is going to help make you look very doll-like, very angelic, and once again, that like rounded face shape that Izabella Miko has. And I'm going to go ahead and build it up to the intensity that I like. And I love blush, and I just added a touch of that onto my nose. Moving on to highlighting, I'm taking a flat brush and that like silvery highlighter from that palette. Honestly, that Makeup Revolution palette is pretty awesome. But I'm just going to take that color and I'm going to highlight all the high points of my face. That means the top of my cheekbones, the tip of my nose, down the bridge of my nose, my temples and forehead, my cupid's bow, and my chin. So basically, just highlight your whole entire face. You really can't mess it up. I was trying out a few of the other colors in the palette, but it didn't really make that much of a difference. So if you just have one highlighter, it's cool. You're all good. Going in with this Fiercest Fire palette, I'm going to take the white shade, which is a super pearlescent white highlighter, and I'm going to go ahead and just highlight basically like the center of my face and then my temples. Since there's still a little bit of like powder and fallout in my eyebrows, I'm just going to take some brow gel and run this through my eyebrows to define them. And now I'm going to take a bit of a makeup wipe or like a tissue with some makeup remover, and I'm just going to remove some of the foundation from my lips. I'm not going to remove it completely, just mostly the center of the mouth. Now with my fingertip, I'm going to run it across the edges of my lips, and basically it's going to soften that line and create kind of an almost ombre look. Now I'm going to apply a sheer berry lip gloss. This color is honestly like perfect. And I'm just going to go ahead and apply this onto my lips. When it comes to my Cupid's bow, I was kind of trying to figure out if I wanted to really define it or kind of leave it ombre a little bit. And I decided to leave it slightly ombre, so the edges are very soft while the center is more saturated. I'm going to take a deep berry lipstick and apply this into the center of my mouth and kind of like in a heart shape while pressing my lips together to blend that out and tapping it with my finger. It just gives it that like just kissed look. We're going to finish the face off with some more setting spray. I like to use my sponge and kind of press that into my skin. I feel like it really presses and flattens the highlighter, so it makes it super luminous. And now I'm just fanning myself dry because why not? And since I had a ton of extra foundation left over, I decided to add a second layer onto my neck and chest. So here I am just blending that all out, and I'm going to take a big powder brush and some of that loose powder, and I'm just going to set that. To make the look a little bit more magical, I'm going to sprinkle some of that gold and silver glitter into my hair, and I'm going to set that with some hairspray so it's not falling out everywhere I go.
And this is it for the completed Izabella Miko Mr. Brightside look. I have had so much fun recreating this look and wearing it, and I'm a little sad because I'm gonna have to wash it off real soon because it's like 2 in the morning. But yeah, it was just always a really cool look. I remember being like 13 and watching the music video for the first time. I was working on a science project with a friend, and I decided to put on Fuse as some background noise, and then you hear the opening riff of this song, and we both look at the television, and we just sat there completely silent just watching this music video, and I knew two things. A, I wanted to make out with Brandon Flowers, and B, I wanted to be Izabella Miko. And yeah, I kind of just have always had that in the back of my head. I don't know why it took me so long to do a look on Izabella, but I'm finally doing one now at the ripe old age of 27. 27 now. Okay. But yeah, this has been a fun look. It's very highlighted. You know how they had like the full face of highlighter challenge like a year or so ago? Like Izabella Miko did that look before any of y'all did. And also like usually I try to like research things a little bit more before I upload. I, for the life of me, could not find out who the makeup artist was on the set of that music video. And I'm sad because I want to give them credit because the look that they created with her was breathtaking. But yeah, I feel like I'm talking a lot and I don't want to make this outro too long. So I'm going to leave a list of all the products I use down below in the description box, along with a couple of video links so you guys can watch the behind the scenes of that music video, the making of that music video. And I don't know if I'm going to link anything else down below, but just feel free to check it out. And yeah, if you guys have any questions, you can comment. And I actually have a little question for you. I don't know why I pulled that fan out. I fiddle a lot when I don't know what to do. But my question for you is, are you a fan of the Killers? A, and I don't know why I'm doing A, B, C. Like I don't know why I'm doing that. I'm sorry. I'm being weird. But are you a fan of the Killers? And did you listen to Hot Bus? And what was your favorite track off that record? My favorite song was their opening track, Jenny Was a Friend of Mine. I love that bass line. And the way Brandon Flowers sings specifically on that song has always kind of vaguely reminded me of like Material Issues Valerie Loves Me, with just like teeny tiny touches of like The Cure and the Violent Femmes. I don't know, it's a cool song and it's still one of my favorites to listen to off that record. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this video up. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time.